Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for taking your time and joining. Here we are going to wait for a little while, until all of our audience joins, and because I don't want anyone to miss this discussion. Let's wait for 5 minutes.
Sorry.
So yeah, I hope like a few of our audience have joined, and so let's get started. Myself, Niveta Jiva, and today's webinar is presented by Ashen Gray Investments, which is a US real estate investment and development company which allows investors to invest in US property and earn better returns. Today's discussion, which will be very interesting, with our inspirational women who will share their journey and hurdles which they have faced. And when it comes to women, it's not only about the fashion and lifestyle, it's to prove otherwise that women have increasingly become the sole or primary source of income. It will be a great session where women need financial advisors to recognize and empathize with the fact that they are dealing with a different set of challenges as compared to men. So, and like now it's my pleasure and honor to introduce Ms. Sumi Rangraj, co-founder of Ashen Gray Investments. She is the best fit for saying, that those who are fearless never grow old. And I have witnessed in person that her personality will never miss to inspire anyone. Hi, Sumi. Thank you for being a key part for organizing this webinar. And now we would like to hear about your journey and most importantly, your struggles as well being a women in business.
Hi, Niveda. Thank you so much for putting this wonderful webinar together. And I love it how you sneaked in the word old in there. Thank you. But okay, about my journey and struggle, well, you have heard it multiple times, but then as a young girl, I grew up in a very, very sheltered and pampered environment. And my mom founded a charity organization called Sharnalayam when I was in 10th grade. And then all I knew was, the orphanage, home, and college, school and college. And that's all I knew. And then I was married off very early, around 22 and a half at that time. And I had to go to US, and my first time ever on flight and to completely different continent and to a place where I was always surrounded by hundreds of people to all of a sudden to this place where you cannot see anybody on the road, right? So that happened, and I had my child, and that loneliness got better of me. And I knew at that time I had to do something, right? I wanted to always start something. And I always wanted to start a school. That was my passion and still is. And I got the opportunity to homeschool my daughter, and then came few other children. And it started off as a small homeschooling camp in my house. And 2 years down into it, I was very happy and content. I was doing what I was doing. And my husband, Sudarshan, he was in construction and real estate and investment in US. And the business started growing, and he needed my help, right? So he wanted me to come into the office at least weekly once. And believe me when I say I didn't have a bone of business in my body. I was completely not someone into real estate and construction. And I would turn the other way if someone said anything about that, right? I was that person because I come up from a completely different background about charity and school and all that. So I go in to help once a week, and it was accounting and no big deal. I put things together, and my husband said, well, we need more of you. And he really needed help at that time, right? He really needed someone to go in that is other than him, but who would do exactly the same justice as he would. So I had to let go of what I was doing, and I had to tell these kids to go back to school. And I started jumping into the business, into construction. And it was a complete struggle from day one. First of all, as a woman, and you are thrown into this world of construction and investment and development, and very few women are in construction. That is, especially in US, very, very minuscule of you can number them with your fingers, very few women. And it was extremely hard for people to take you seriously. right? Especially all these vendors and even the people who are working with you deal with men in and out. There are hardly any women, like I said, right? You deal with all these male superintendents and people, vendors in the city, and who would kind of throw deaf ears to you. But then I had to kind of come out from the little cocoon that I was, and I was very soft spoken, and I had to come out of that cocoon and be very authoritative and take some bold steps to see, hey, I'm not, like, I had to really fire people on the spot for being disrespectful to me, because that's not what they would do to Sudarshan or any other male counterpart of mine. So I had to do all those things for people to take me seriously. But then I learned when it comes to the business part of it, I learned it very hard way. Like I said, though Sudarshan was teaching me the ins and outs, sometimes as a woman, you need to learn it yourself, because especially when you work with your husband, it comes, hey, I know what I'm doing, right? So I needed to learn very hard way, some expensive mistakes, but then I did learn, and I'm still in learning uh, in that part. And when it comes to Ashton Gray Investments, which we founded in India, I'm here since the conception. So this is completely different ball game, right? So I got to be here since we structured the tax part of it, and since we brainstormed the name and all of that. So that's how it has been so far.
That's wonderful, because I completely understand, because I completed like my civil engineering with a dream that where I'm gonna like enter the construction and everything. But then finally, when I was about into it, I had a lot of struggle saying like women cannot someone who can see the construction, or she's not someone who can be there in the real estate and everything. She's someone who wants to be there in the office, and that's where I had my MBA and everything. But like you have come up with a lot of struggles, and the challenges which you have gone through, but I'm sure that it's been extremely rewarding for you.
No, it certainly is. But also, even now, if I tell people, even in National Gray Investments, when we sit here and when someone comes in and asks me what I do, and when I say I'm in construction, and their first question is, "You are in construction?" Like, they would expect it the other way around. Like, why are you not on development side or investment side? Why are you in construction? Why would you go to the field, right? So I think it's here in investments too, because as women are now coming into investment slowly. But I think when you talk with somebody, I have noticed it's not the same when someone would talk to, your male counterpart. So that's something that I've noticed here also, in investments as well. So that is also something that we have to break out of, right? So that is something we have to show them. Yeah.
Yes, sure. So, and now, we also have our sweet key speaker, Miss Pallavi. She is a financial coach, mother, and a blogger. She's a banker by profession with 10 plus years experience. Also, she's a speaker at Kulkanya. It's an exclusive community for women financial education. Thank you for joining us, Pallavi. I must say, like when we approached her to be a part of this webinar, and when we said it's the something which is for women and for their finance and everything, she was kind and agreed without even a second thought. So, we would like to hear from you that what made you become a financial consultant, and what do you think like financial independence is important for any women?
Thank you, Nivedita. And I was hearing Sumi say that you learn by struggles, and this is what actually happens when there is a gender disparity which is there across all over the world. So the men are taught that when you grow up, you are supposed to take care of the family. You are supposed to earn. You are supposed to go ahead and take all the decisions. So you are the risk taker, and they are given that thought from the right beginning. So when a daughter is born, you will always give one thought process. You are supposed to take care of the household, or even if you want to be independent, you can take a job, but take a job which is, very easy. So, like Sumi was saying, you are into construction, this thought comes in. We actually don't think that a daughter can be part of those, concepts, or, those fields. We'll always say, okay, you become a teacher, or, you become a clerk, and it happens. So when I started banking, I still remember, though I had a very good financial independence thought process, because my parents were very clear, because they had two daughters. They said very, nicely to me, we are not going to do goody goody to you. You have to learn it. You have to learn your finances your way, do your mistakes, do whatever you can. And I did it. But when it came to the career aspects, I still remember, they wanted me to go into, the typical career thought process. Either you go into BSc, or even if you're going into engineering, don't take electrical engineering or mechanical engineering. You can take the simple aspect. And then the thought process was, you go into a government job, you go into a banking sector where you can come back home at 5 o'clock. So I still know that despite whatever be it, that thought process remains. And this is what, made me to believe that, girls can do it. And what we are lacking is giving them the financial education. And while I was doing the banking sector, there were a lot many of people who would come and ask our advice, but I had never seen women coming and asking me advice. They would come, they would do their transactions, they would go away. They would never ask, is there an option to grow my money? Is there a way I can invest and get more returns? That talk is never there. And this is what Sumi was telling, na, that when you interact, the interaction is totally different. So they will come, they will deposit the money, they want that risk-free environment, there. And during demonetization, I saw a lot of women coming with this much cash and telling, this is the money that we have saved. So now it gave me a very beautiful insight that women as such are very good at saving money, but we ourselves are not willing to talk to them and tell them these investment options are available. So as a woman, can I talk to them for investment options? Can I tell them these are available? Take a thought process, do it. It's okay if you don't want to do it, but think on it. And once you give a thought, I'll tell you, the 10th time a woman will approach you and say, you said that thing, can I try? Okay, can I take a little risk forward? And in India, 21 to 25% women are only financially literate. We still have got the capacity to build 75% more. So can we do it? And this is where I thought, no, I will not do anything else. I'll start financial coaching only for women. No men involved. Though I do have men coming in sessions, but the purpose of me going into Kulkanya was because it was a woman-led community, and I wanted to teach women, to tell them, you're doing superb job. You're doing very good. You are doing exactly what is required, but you're missing on the fact of making investment decisions. Can we do it? Let's start doing it. And this is where I started.
That's really great, and I completely agree. I think like every woman here would have gone through every experience which you have shared right now. So, and moving forward, we have with us Ms. Saranya, Director of Third Eye Foundation for Differently Abled. She has chosen a path which is not chosen by many. And essentially, like she had taken up something more than a business. Hi, Saranya. Thank you for being a part of this webinar. Could you share your experience, like how it started?
Sure. Thank you so much, Niveda, for that introduction. Yes, third eye is something, not the cliche paths where everybody will choose it to be a career. But then we already run an NGO called Sharnalayam, which is like 20-year-old organization started by my mom. So there are several things we do there. We have an orphanage, we have an adoption agency, mentally ill home, mentally retarded home. So we are doing several things. And then I was living in US, then moved to UK, was doing more into fashion, more into about the looks and handbags and shoes and all that. And then I decided I'll come back to India to help my mom. Like eventually the goal was to be in India with my mom. So one fine day I decided I'll just pack up everything and come back to India. And my husband is let to be there to wind up the whole thing, leave the apartment, leave the car, everything. And I came here, and really I don't know what to do, because yeah, Sharnalim I was helping out, but then I was still figuring out what I want to do on a full-time basis. Then in Sharnalim, when we say this mentally ill people, see the cops will bring some lady wandering on the street. Some public might call and say there is this insane person roaming around the street. Come and take care of them. So when we do the checkup and everything, we in depth, if we do that analysis, we could see that that person is affected by autism. Autism is a disorder where that person will have issues with communication skill. They'll have issues with social skill, and also they'll have a lot of behavior concerns and repetitive behaviors. So they will have issues with understanding what we are speaking and responding according to that, and also to express what they want. If they are not given a proper training at a very early stage, then eventually they will end up on the streets, because they don't know how to eat, they don't know how to speak, they don't know how to express. Their parents might have a lot of money, but then once they are no more, eventually they will end up on the streets. So we could see that many of them were autistic, but they were termed as mentally ill people because there was not much awareness or not proper training center for that. So we live in a place called Kenathukadavu. Sharnalim is in Kenathukadavu. It's on the way to Pollachi and Coimbatore. It's actually a small village. It's in middle of nowhere, I can say. Like nobody can relate such a big organization is existing in Kenathukadavu, because there are more than 200 residents living in campus. So my mother, she wanted to start a special school exclusively for autism. And that time I was like a MBA grad with HR specialization. And I thought it's not a big deal. I can hire a lot of special educators and just sit on top of them and just manage. So we started it in our Pollachi house. We have our own house. So we just started a special school there. But then I realized that even the special educators don't have knowledge about autism. Still, there's not much awareness. They were looked at as mentally ill kids, because they were all small kids who were coming to the center. But unfortunately, none of them knew like how to handle them. So because they were so used to handling mentally retarded or intellectually disabled kids, but they don't know how to handle autistic kids, because they have a lot of behavior concerns like running around, hitting, biting, pinching, so all kinds of behavior concerns. So I had to take a decision. What should I do next? I can't keep on going like this and be like at another center like what it is in Coimbatore, where they don't know what to do with autistic kids. Then I had to step up and do a course, American-based course called Applied Behavior Analysis. It is a scientifically proven therapy for autism, and not many exist in India with that kind of certification. So I had to work so hard, and I finally did that American certification. After seeing in India, after that certification, I could see that I was probably 1 in 40 in whole of India. So I was very proud, and I was like, oh, the whole world is going to come to me. Everybody in India are going to come to me, because I am one in very few who have done this certification, and this is the best course in the whole world. But unfortunately, nobody in Coimbatore are really aware of what is autism. So then only they are going to end up coming to me, right? So we started, Sharnalim had
I think we have lost her.
Because I was more into thinking like, okay, everybody are going to come here, and we are going to be the biggest center in India kind of thing I was thinking about. But then I could see that awareness is not there. I was charging very less, because financially, the financial numbers, I was so poor. I was charging so less, I couldn't run the center at all. In fact, I have to ask my parents and husband to pitch in money to run the center. But we are doing such a wonderful job. We are showing so much of improvement. And we could see that the parents are paying way more to other centers when compared to us. Then I had to take a stand and say like, no, you have to pay us this much, because I have to run the show. But we were still charging less than other centers. So we started getting a lot of kids from everywhere. But when I approach doctors who I wanted them to, usually it's the doctors who refer me. Unfortunately, I could see that a lot of doctors were also having issues with understanding what is autism. And they were, again, this is more of like a male dominated field where the males will be more aggressive. And I, all of a sudden, I go in, and here the female were expected, the people working in this field were expected to be in a certain form, like no very subtle dress, no hair coloring, no tattoos, not wearing anything modern. So I go to the hospitals and doctors and say that I have started so and so center, and we have got so much of evidence, we have improved so many kids who have integrated all blah 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 blah. They just look at me up and down and they'll say like, okay, we will refer. Or sometimes they will, I had a lot of bad experience, but I don't want to discuss it here. But yeah, I was treated little differently because of I was not in a certain form what was expected to be in this field. But then I knocked many doors, and then I had to do a lot of autism awareness within Coimbatore, because not many are aware. So basically I had to do that and bring more kids to the center. Then we thought we will open one more center in Coimbatore, which is about 1 hour drive from this Kanathikadavu center, because a lot of kids couldn't travel so far from Coimbatore. So we opened one more, and we have more than 80-90 kids getting trained in that center. Then we opened one more center in Gobi-Chettipalayam, which is about 2 hours drive from Kanathikadavu. So again, we have a lot of kids coming there. Then in the Kanathikadavu center is a place which is the only center, I think, in whole of Tamil Nadu or probably in India, that is exclusively for autistic kids. It's a quite a big center. It's like a school setup. We have got a lot of American systems, Western systems incorporated to it. And we have customized to according to the Indian standards and everything. But we have a lot of clients coming in from US, UK, Australia, Dubai, a lot of NRA parents who are coming here, taking up houses, and taking the training here, go back to their country, again come back in the vacation. So we are basically, eventually, we as a center, we are very proud, because at the end of the day, I mean, kids from US, where this therapy originated, they don't want to take the therapy there. They end up coming here and take the therapy here and go back. So I feel so proud and very humble that we are doing such a good job, and tell my staff like we are doing so well. But financial independence is something I didn't look for in this profession, because I didn't basically voted for to be in the autistic field. But then it eventually happened, because we had Sharnalayam, we identified a lot of autism kids, and my mother wanted to start it. I never thought about finance or how much money I'm going to make out of it, or how much profit I'm going to make out of it. But then eventually it happened. And we also started one more center in GH, Government Hospital, where it's free of cost. So we have nearly 30 kids taking free therapy there. So our motto in the center is never send any kids back because they don't have the money to pay the fees. We will just take whatever they can offer. Of course, we charge a lot of fees. But then it depends on the parents. If their salary is very low, they can pay whatever they want to us. They can pay even 1,000 rupees per month, 500 rupees per month, or they can take the free center in free training in GH. But again, coming back, finance is not I was too keen on, but eventually it happened, because I was putting all my 100% effort into this field. I was studying exclusively for this. I was doing my psychology course. I was doing parents counseling training, everything end to end. We'll be doing the toilet training, sending the kids to toilet, making sure they are potty trained, everything we'll be doing. So that's something, but now the center is running independently, where we don't have to depend on anybody. In fact, we are giving a lot of parents, if they can't afford 1 month, you can pay us next month. We are giving a lot of privileges and perks to parents as well, to ensure they don't have that burden to pay fees. So that's what we do here, actually.
But that's really awesome. When we hear you, like it's not that easy at all. But we really appreciate you for the great efforts which you have put in, and you are putting it the future as well. So, and also we always hear like saying that behind every successful man there is a woman. Likewise, for any women, there will be a strong support system. Like personally, where I have had my mom, my dad, husband, like who have constantly supported me in every aspect. Likewise, like we'll have for everyone. So, for which, like, I would want to hear from Sumi that who is your pillar of support in your life?
Whether it's very hard to pinpoint just one person, like you said, it's a support system, right? So I would say my huge inspiration comes from my mom, because she is a ball of fire. She has always done things which no one else would think of. She started Charnalayam with one child, which became 7, and now, like Sarnya Rangaraj said, there are like 200 kids, right? So she has always done the impossible. The senior citizen homes, now you see it everywhere. But then she started Preetham. She was one of the first ones that started in and around Coimbatore. So she has always been my first inspiration. And my dad, right? He has been, I have seen him always putting my mom in the limelight. He's very happy just being himself, but he has always been the pillar of strength for my mom. And he's never told us, you cannot do this or you cannot do that. He has always, why don't you do this? He's taken such pride in whatever we do. And both my sisters, right? And they have been huge inspiration. Though my Sanya Rangaraj is my younger sister, she has been, telling me to go and study something to help out in Sharnalayam, which I've done my MS psychology when I was 38, and she is the sole support system behind that. And at last, but not the least, right, Sudarshan, like the very reason that I came into the business, and he, like I said, I never had a bone of business in my body, and he's completely different person. He has been born with this. He has been, I would say, a prodigy in business. That is how he was. And for him to groom me, and I take such pride in saying that he has been my support system, but also my mentor, right? It's very hard to find a mentor who would groom you into a person that you are right now. Like every single day is a learning process, every single question, and every day I learn something from him. He teaches me something every day on investments and even construction, on how to deal with people, and how, and he has never been shy of admitting when I'm right, and when he has always put me on a pedestal. That's very hard to find. And he's never, and even at work, though we work together in India and in US, we are together 24 hours. And it's very hard for a man, especially, to segregate your wife from your business partner. But I think he has done that beautifully so far. So this has been my whole support system.
Fantastic. You have clearly said, like anyone can succeed in life, like if they have a proper support system or freedom in life. That's very true also. And now moving on to Pallavi, I'm one of your follower in Instagram, and I have seen you posting about your daughter. I just want to ask you, how are you really able to manage between the family and business? Because this is a one main question to be addressed, because there are many women who leave their career just for the family, and how are you able to multitask, being an influencer, mother, and you're also working?
So, see, I was working before I got married, and one condition that I got married was I will never give up on my career. I told him very clearly. I told my husband Sachin that, I'm getting married to you, but I'll not give up on the career. If you're planning that I should leave my career, you tell me beforehand, we'll not get married. And one second thing I did was I asked him if you come and visit me in the branch, because I was into branch banking at that time. And I told him I don't come back home by 8:30. So don't think that this is the typical branch banking where I am coming back home at 5 or 6 o'clock. And I made him sit for 2 days. Literally 2 days I made him sit, and he was like, okay, I've understood it. I'm okay to, get married to you. I'll never ask you to give up on the career. But there are few things you have to also understand. We'll have to do certain compromises. So there will be times where I'll be compromising. There will be times you'll be compromising. Think on that. And then we took a conscious call. Okay, there were days when I did not take promotions or anything, and that was a compromise I did because I had a very small daughter. And then once she started growing, and once she was able to understand things, I took off. I started taking my promotions. I started my business separately. I have my own financial business going on, and then now I have my sessions and everything. I started learning a lot of things, and I would still say, whatever be it, my biggest support has been my daughter, because she's the one who constantly tells me where I'm going wrong when it comes to budgeting. So now she knows the concept of budgeting, because from the childhood she has been seeing, and she would sit beside me, when I would teach people on budgeting, or I would teach people on the unwise spendings, and now she'll come and tell me, mama, you are doing unwise spendings. So with her it has been a very beautiful journey, but I still will say, the balance is never there. You just need to find the right mix of things that works out for you. I found the right mix. I found out that, okay, I can take my career promotions, I can do my business, I can also handle the family, but I need support from both of you. So I need support from my husband, I need support from my daughter. And whenever I ask for that, I'm given back. But when they need support, I try to give us stop over there. I tell, okay, this is where I will limit myself now, and now I'll go forward on these days. So that open communication with both of them has made things much better for me, made things happen for me. And like you were telling, you have been seeing the reels of me and my daughter. I think it comes impromptu. There are no retakes in those reels. These are cut short reels. So we cut it off. But what she's saying, I never give them her script. She tells what she means by it. And it is very beautiful to hear her insights on money. I'm sure when she grows up, she will be one child who will be investing by herself without looking back or without fearing what if these investments fail, because she will understand how to balance them off. So I'm pretty sure of those things now.
So sweet, and this is what everyone wanted. It's very important to have the work-life balance. Like by which I mean, like doing meaningful work means like finding a work-life balance between like being on and off. That's seemingly a simple idea. And to maintain our mental health is also a very essential for today's day and age. So Sumi, would you like to add something on this?
Whether that is so true, needing to maintain a mental health balance as well, because what I see today with youngsters and all of us also is that we go through so much at work, and I think we are just programmed such that if you sit still for a minute means you're wasting your time, right? So we just keep going and going. We do work, and then we come back home, and then we tend to whatever we have to tend to, our husband, wife, parents, or children, or whatever it is. It's very important that you take a minute for yourself. Even if it's just 30 minutes in a day, just take completely for yourself, because in US, in India at least, I would say that you have other distractions to do. In US, it's completely different. It's just for them, it's just work, and work. And in fact, you wouldn't believe I had to conduct personal counseling sessions for each and everybody at least once a month. So that's what I have found. It's very important as women, especially, that we take a break of 30 minutes to an hour just for ourselves, just doing absolutely nothing and just being there, right? So that is something I strongly stand by, because I was one such person who was going, still I go, but that 30 minutes to 1 hour that I get in a day kind of resets me completely. That's like a break, clear break, and I go into this reset mode.
Completely agree. And like as we are discussing, I have seen you all the time, like very energetic and hardworking. So, I always wanted to ask you, like, what's your vision, like a person or in the business?
Well, as a person, whether you grow, you evolve every day, right? You make mistakes, and there is something like I have since I stepped into business in US till you see me in Ashton Gray Investments. I have started literally with my emotions on ground zero to where I am right now because I was completely emotional person. Like I would take decisions out of heart. If a vendor doesn't listen to me, something would go in my head. I would say, "You're not listening to me, so you're fired." Right? So, but that is bad for business. I cannot take my business decisions like that. So I had to train myself how to be level-headed. Right? I wouldn't say the woman in me. I think I had more feministic nature in me than a normal person. Usually a woman or a man would have both the characteristics, right? I had more on the emotional side of me. So I had to learn how to balance it. So still I'm learning. So I want to evolve more and more and be a better person, have to give back to my personal goal is to expand, Sharnal and whatever my mom started, we had to help more and more people. And then I want to start a school along with my sister, special school. So these are my personal goals to evolve. And when it comes to business, Sudarshan and I have never set a milestone, right? Again, we have always wanted to be better than what we did the previous year. Like we used to do spec homes and now we do land development projects, which if you see our portfolio, a lot of this is land development. I don't know we want to do something better tomorrow, next year, right? So we don't want, so that, and one of the main thing is we always had 100% track record with the investors. That is something that we are very keen on in US, and we want to maintain that. That is the main priority, and be better each year. That's pretty much it.
We completely admire you, like being with you and watching you every day. Completely admire us. And now, like we could like hear a few words from my loving teammates, Surya and Saranya.
Hello, everybody. So I'm Surya, and it's nice to be a part of this webinar. And I'm happy to have a loving team here as well. So to talk about myself and my finances, I would say growing up as a very carefree person, I was not much into handling finance or anything like that. So it was all my parents and they took care of everything. But at one point, it was like I was taught what savings is. And I was always given something, even when I was given a pocket money, there was separate for something for savings and something where I can spend. So that is how it was. So I learned what savings was even at a young age. However, when I started working and even in my first job, like everybody, like most of the young girls do, I did not save or invest. I was just like going month after month with my salary. So even whatever it was. So 1 year down the lane, I thought, okay, 1 year we've done whatever I had wanted with my really look into what was it. I started a very minimum investment per month of 1,000 rupees. So I just put it in mutual funds. I had no idea what it was. I just took the help of a senior, and he guided me on how to do it, and it was just 1,000 rupees. So after a few months, I just increased it by a very small margin, and I started putting around into another mutual fund for around like another 2,000 or 4,000 rupees. So after that, even I had a break in my career, but that savings did not stop. I did not want to stop. So somehow even my parents were helping me. And what I would say is at one point when I look back, it has made a big impact. It was just a small amount when it comes to savings or investment. But now I'm able to take that money and invest it in something bigger, I would say. So also when we are living independently, like all of you told, ma'am, so it's like when you live independently, we get to know what is budgeting, how we do it, and how we really have to handle money. That which does not happen when we are living with our parents. So I started to know that where I should put, and where we cannot just shop, or how things happen. So that is how I was able to make an investment and save. And though it is not big, it is something which makes an impact and a difference, I would say. So that's my experience. And off to Saranya, who would share her experience with us.
Thank you, Surya. So I must say I have a very similar experience as Surya's. I'm also very new to investments, just starting my SIPs and FDs and all that. When it comes to financial management, I must say my mother is my role model, as anyone would have, any girl would have. From a very young age, I have seen her plan the budget, sit and note it down in her diary all day and night, plan for our wedding, for our career, for our education. For next 15 years, she'll have plans in that one particular diary. So that she believes in long-term financial planning. And like I have a sister, so what she would kept on insisting is to start investments early, right from the day one of our career, which I didn't do at that time. And now, if you ask me, that is my biggest regret. So now in my late 20s, I realized the importance of starting the investments early, and how that would make a big impact in your life, which will make you a real financially independent woman. With said all that, according to me, what I think is any girl should get basic education about investments, savings at a very young age, maybe as a part of their curriculum even. So that will give them that will make them know the value of money, mindful spending, and what is the real meaning of being independent, and not just uh, with all the complete financial information. Yeah.
That's really a good point to be discussed here. Like as Saranya said, like our parents will start planning for a like wedding, and they'll start saving the money, but like not for the investment. Why not? And also, I think Saranya, the director of Third Eye, would be the right person to discuss on educating the girls about the investment at young age as you are into the education sector.
See, education plays a very important role, especially with girls, because we are seeing in Sharnalayam that a lot of kids, some really study well, some are like school dropouts. Kids, when you have education, eventually it's going to help them in the long run. So you don't have to be. A lot of times we see this Sharnalayam girls being in a toxic. I mean, many of us, like, you be in a toxic relationship because for various reasons. One of the reason might be the financial, no, you don't have a financial stability, or you haven't invested much in finance and you are dependent on the other person. It can be one of the many reasons few are staying in those kind of relationships. So I always tell the Sharnalim girls, study well, earn well, do have a lot of savings. You have to buy and give me something personally. You have to buy me a dress. You have to buy something for my mother. You have to buy something for Subi. Then only we will make you get married, because they have to really earn and see how it is earning, and I mean what it takes to earn, and how do you save it, and where everything comes from. Not everything comes just like that. So that's something we tell Sharnalayam girls. But at the end of the day, I have one more sister. Of course, not many will know her. Like, she is not educated, she is a school dropout, but financially she is so good. Like, she can, none of us are like that. Even anybody, my husband, my mom, Sumi, Sudarshan, none of us are like the way she manages finance, how she is able to put things together, how she can know when there's a shortage of money, how she can pull it off. So many things. And she will really desire, she will plan about where we have to invest as well, how we can invest, so many things. She's the main person who is going to do most of the work when it comes to finance. So education plays an important role, but at the end of the day, the girl, or any person for that matter, it's not a girl or boy, like any gender for that matter, they should be always be aware of how do you earn money, but at the same time, what do you do with the money? Like, I earn 100 rupees and I spend like 150 rupees on doing everything, and on the third day I literally don't have anything to turn on when the job is not there. that doesn't work. So I think it plays a very, very important role how you help the kids in, especially in the school environment. How do you save money? I think there should be a separate class for that. Like, how do you know, a lot of kids nowadays in international schools, kids can spend, they bring so much of money, they bring iPhone to classes, they bring tab to classes, but literally they don't know how to save money. They every day they get money from the parents, go spend it in school. They think they don't know from where the money is coming from. But I think it's high time a lot of schools teach them how to manage money, and what do you do with the money that you have saved and all that. It plays a very important role.
That's great. And also, as Pallavi mentioned before, like where she says like 21% of women are like financially literate and the rest what happened, like, so Pallavi, would you like to add something where, it would be a great takeaway for our participants?
I think, you can start from today. It's never too late. So understanding finances can be done today. And like Saranya was also saying, that financial literacy is very important. And be it, women who is age 50, or be it a child who's at the age of 10, financial literacy matters. Because in the end, what you decide of your money is what is going to give you, the returns in future. It is going to create wealth for you. You will be able to handle the emergencies better. You will be able to, make your own wise decisions, not rely on somebody. And this is what COVID also taught us, that anything can happen. You should be aware of your finances, because in case of emergency, you cannot depend upon somebody else, because they may also be undergoing the same emergency as yours. So can I build it for myself? And what I want is that you start today. It's okay. Things have happened. Things have, evolved around you. People have gotten better, beyond you. But can I start learning today? Can I start taking those decisions myself? And for women, the biggest thing is they will always look back and say, okay, I'll go and ask my husband. I'll go and ask my, father. Okay, can I take somebody else's advice? Why? Why cannot I sit on it and think on it? And as a woman, I think for us, we should stop talking to men on stocks. We should start talking on stocks in between us. Why should I discuss with you a lipstick shade or a dress? I'm wearing a pretty dress, but I should tell you that dress I got it by gaining from my profits, because I bought one share of TTML, which was at 40 rupees. I sold it at 200 rupees. That should be what I should be imparting, so that you get conscious on the money aspect. And now, this is one giveaway I want to give it to all. From today, you will start talking on wealth to each other rather than discussing on n number of serials or anything. Take one stock every day, discuss in between. I think it will give you ample satisfaction on the money value.
Awesome. And I think it will be a great takeaway for myself and for everyone. So no, it was really a great session. But before we conclude, like I would like Sumi to like give a few words of wisdom for like women empowerment.
Thank you, Niveda. like you all know in the office, right? I always tell my team, I love my all girls team, right? More girls we hire. I think it's more hustle, and
Yes.
And as long as, and I do completely agree with Pallavi and Saranya, financial literacy among women is extremely important, which I see is lacking. And one thing I've always believed in, or rather I was taught and ingrained in, is your money should grow when you're sleeping, right? It's not that people have this thought of, oh, you have to earn every minute, or you need to be working every single minute to earn a rupee, right? No, that is not it. Your real investment comes in when you realize that your money is growing even when you're sleeping complete 2 days. Back you're still like, your money is growing. That is something that we all should know. And having that independence, really, like Saranya said, it helps you come out of any toxic relationship, right? I personally know friends who are still in the relationship because they don't know what they will do once they come out, or how they are going to manage their children because they don't have that financial independence. Will the children choose their father because the mom doesn't have enough knowledge on finances or she's not making any money, right? So it's very important for women to be financially independent. And also, it's not only that, it makes you feel good about yourself, right? I don't believe in feminism, but I do believe in equality. And it gives you equal voice to discuss about your money and what the family is going through or what is happening out there with your husband or with your father on the same table, because then it doesn't get limited to only men, right? So we need our fair share on the table too. So I think it boils down to that. Like Pallavi said, we should every single day, I think we should learn something when it comes to finances, and that would eventually take us out there.
I completely agree. It's not about the feminism, it's about the equality is what is required. So, like to everyone out here, like brace yourself, work hard for your ambition and put in all your efforts to reap the benefits. As mentioned, like start anything small that will reward you big in something. So, like as we're going to enter our new year, take a resolution to start your investment for like being financially independent. And like here, I thank Ms. Pallavi, Saranya, Sumi, and everyone for joining us and giving a very insightful session, which will be really beneficial for our participants. Also, wishing everyone a very happy Christmas and New Year. Thank you so much.